All right. Well, moving on. Have you ever wanted to spend money and earn crypto? Right, just like a credit card, you spend money at Blockbuster Video. You Blockbuster.
Blockbuster. Wow, I haven't heard that one in a while.
Oh God.
From a decentralized location, this is the Crypto Effect.
Okay, I think we're live. We're live.
Yes, we're good.
Oh, this is a recording. We're not actually live. But anyways,
Well, we're live for us.
we're live for us. All right, guys, welcome back to the Crypto Effect. It is July 8th. I believe it's the 8th. I usually get that. I usually don't get that right. That's actually false. It's July 8th. It's 7 p.m. And once again this week, Bitcoin is down as well as the other crypto markets. We've taken a little bit of a dip today after coming back up over the last several days. Saw a little bit of a rally back up, but of course, we have retraced back down to 32,400. Again, this is a pretty consistent behavior that we've seen. So nothing new here. What's really interesting, and I've got Warble here with me. Just getting right into it. It's really interesting because these new dips, they don't really affect me at all.
No, me either. I mean, I'm sort of, me. I mean, I'm in it for the long term, so they don't
Right.
really bother me either.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you think about it, if you are in it for the long term, these little tiny dips, going from 35,000, which is where it was at like yesterday, dropping down, a good $3,000. It's kind of like, oh, okay, good. Well, another opportunity, I guess, to buy, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Ethereum's come down from around 2,400 or high 2,300s to about 2,000 here. Again, another good-looking buying opportunity. I think if it drops below 2,000 at this stage, I think anything under 2,000 is a really good buy. It hit that 1,600 mark a few weeks ago, and I regretted not getting it then.
Hmm.
But I think if I see this go below, $2,000, I think I'm going to grab onto that a little bit. And a lot of other things besides Bitcoin and Ethereum. What else are you watching out there right now?
Right now, I'm actually, as you know, I've talked about it before. Probably Orion Protocol is a big one for me. I'm just continuing to accumulate that, especially at this price. And Olympus DAO, I'm still continuing to accumulate as well.
Yeah, Olympus DAO, that's right.
I think that one's in my opinion, I like it. It's seems to be a pretty solid investment. Of course, it has dips just like everything else, but I like what they're doing. I'm also really kind of keeping an eye on and Cody still. So I'm accumulating those specific coins at this point in time.
So you've got a lot of attention on Orion. Now we've done a video on Orion. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, watch one of those other videos. We've done a couple, presentations of their platform, and they've got a really awesome platform. They had highs of I think close to 30 something dollars, and now they're all the way down to $5.
Yeah, it's a steal right now.
So I think it's in an incredibly good price range, and they have a really great DeFi platform. And I'm not going to get into all the details, but they're doing a lot of things that other platforms are not doing.
Right.
Other blockchains are not doing. So definitely Orion. You did mention Cody. Cody's been a long time favorite of a lot of people for a long time. They do have a pretty huge community. They're not at all-time lows, but they're at a pretty good price range right now. I believe around 16 cents, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
And then you said Olympus DAO. Now that's OHM, and we've talked about Olympus DAO, I believe, in the past. If we haven't done a YouTube video on it, maybe it was just on a live. But Olympus is one of those new ones that you kind of brought to my attention, and we've been watching. It dipped, it had highs during the March, April bull run. It hit highs of over $1,400, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it has come down all the way, essentially hitting like $180 at its low, but currently sitting around 366. Now this thing's been running between around 250 and 400 since the initial dip of 180 that it hit a few weeks ago, or back in May and June.
Hmm.
But I think what was really cool about Olympus Dow was their staking utility.
Yeah. The other one I'm watching, Brad, too, that I wanted to mention is Mirror Protocol. I think is another really
Oh, that's right.
interesting project. One of the items I did have here is I just wanted to mention Mirror is they're announcing that they really want to start pushing the pre-IPOs, and one specifically that they talked about was Robinhood. Which the interesting thing about that, in my opinion, is you can't get into a pre-IPO in traditional finance unless you're accredited, which many people aren't, right?
Mhm.
So to me, I find that really interesting. So I'm watching that as well. And they've also announced that they're going to add some other stocks to it, like AMD and Square. But going back to Olympus, yeah, they are absolutely interesting. Their staking percentages are still pretty good. I think when I started looking at them, they were at like 34,000% APY.
Mhm.
They have since dropped a little, actually about half, but I think that's only because they are getting more. I think they're getting more people investing, and
Yeah.
of course, the more people that invest has dropped. So, but still, it's been a solid investment in my opinion. But it's
Mhm.
projects like this where they're I think they're solid, and I don't think they're it's not a rug pull, and it's not a project that they're going to be gone next week.
Mhm.
I think these guys are going to be around for a long time. So my focus is really sort of on these blue chip, sort of these projects that have a really good working product, like Mirror and Olympus and Orion Protocol. I think those are going to be really safe bets for people to get into.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're looking for right now, during this, I won't say bear market, but during this downtrend, kind of looking for the accumulation opportunities that you missed before the bull market started, right? So before the bull market started, you had ups and downs that weren't really significant. They were actually quite boring.
Yeah.
But if you just continue to put money in slowly at a time, when that bull run finally comes around, boy, I'm telling you, does it get exciting, right?
It gets really exciting. The
Um,
other thing I did want to talk about when it comes to like Orion Protocol, even, is they just announced that they're adding more pairs to their staking pool. Which, if I think just before the show started, we talked about do you really invest your money in Bitcoin, or do you invest your money in Ethereum, or both?
mhm,
I kind of indicated that, I'm probably more bullish on Ethereum than I am on Bitcoin overall. I'm bullish on both, but if I was going to really put more in, I think I would probably throw it into Ethereum. But Orion Protocol actually gives you the opportunity, to stake your Ethereum against a stable coin. And with that, you're also rewarded back in ORN tokens. So it
right.
sort of is, I kind of look at it as it's kind of like a savings account. I want to acquire more ORN tokens, but I want to have the opportunity to also purchase ETH, but I don't want it just to sit there and do nothing. So, maybe I can use that, against USDT and Orion, and actually
Mhm.
earn ORN tokens.
Yeah, and we may have to do a video on staking. I know we've talked a little bit about it in the past, but staking is really, if you're just holding and you're going to let your money sit there, if you've got a pretty strong platform to stake your money in, there's really no downside if you're just planning on holding that particular coin, right? So this is an Ethereum USDT staking. There's over 2 million in liquidity in this pool. And the rewards on it are 49.5% a year. So basically, you're getting nearly 50% of your money staked back yearly.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yep.
this one right here, the Orion USDT pair, has a 67%. So these are pretty high staking rewards.
And I
Um,
like the fact that they put them up against stable coins,
yeah,
because it's not something that's super volatile, and
right.
you're not going to really suffer a lot of impermanent loss.
Right. So, that's kind of what's going on right now in the crypto sphere this week. Just more accumulation, no surprises in the downturns. That's an accumulation period. ETH is pretty much a good go-to right now with the prices as they are. Anything under 2,000, again, I'm buying. If you're holding it, stake it, especially on platforms like Orion, where they're going to be around in a year. So that's kind of what's been going on. Into the news this week, though, REvil, REER. Am I saying that right?
REvil.
REvil,
Yeah.
REevil. Okay, REvil. They hacked multiple companies this week in request for $70 million.
70 million in Bitcoin. Yeah.
$70 million in Bitcoin. Now, this is a Russian hacker group who I guess I saw in here that they were attacking Sweden and some other countries. So I don't know if it's necessarily, do you know if it's aimed at the US or was it just aimed in general at companies?
From what I saw, it was, a good share of US, but I do think it's a global thing. They're not necessarily just, targeting the US in
Yeah.
a lot of these cases.
Yeah.
But I do know that they, from what I read, they ended up affecting 200 US firms, I believe, total, which which shut them down. I mean, literally shut their computer networks down. And my understanding is it was all based on them affecting a piece of software called Kaseya. It's a Miami-based IT firm that that they were able to breach. And then when they breached this this firm in Miami, they were able to leverage the customer base. And from there, they were able to infiltrate 200 different firms based on that breach.
Wow. So they were able to breach a security firm, and through that security firm, we were able to get basically access to all kinds of clientele. Kaseya, yeah, blamed on REvil, a suspected Russia-based hacking group. So what this feels like to me. So as we were talking about before at the G7 summit, Biden did kind of say to Russia, don't you dare pull your hacking schemes again, blah blah blah. And within a month, here they go again. Basically, to me, they're just kind of giving a middle finger to the U.S., saying, "What are you going to do about it?" So this really puts a lot of pressure on Biden on what he is going to do about it, because this is not $70 million across over 200 companies. That's a huge chunk of change. That's it's going to hurt some companies, I think, in the long term.
Well, and the thing about it for me is like it attacks critical infrastructure in some cases, and in the case of you were mentioning it a minute ago, is that it's not just the U.S. So like they also hit over the weekend. Actually, they had hit hundreds of Swedish supermarkets, and they literally shut them down. So if you think about it in terms of like food and things people actually need, and in the case of the recent pipeline in the US, it's just a matter of time before they attack something like some dams that are in the US or some power grids that are in the US and or somewhere else in the world. But I think really for me, it's the bigger picture here. It's like, what happens to cryptocurrency as a whole because of something like this? Does anything really happen to it? Does anything change? Who ultimately gets blamed for this? Is it going to be a cryptocurrency that's blamed for this and highly regulated and possibly banned? Is it going to be a country that gets blamed for this, like Russia? That's the piece that I find interesting. What's the ultimate, like what ultimately ends up happening with all of this?
Let me ask you this. Did they get the money in Bitcoin?
That was not clear. That's the thing. So the FBI, of course, with the position that I'm in my career, Of course, we talk about ransomware is a subject we talk about a lot. And I've been on multiple FBI conference calls that we talk about, FBI says, do not pay it. We recommend not ever paying it. And so, I don't know. I mean, did the FBI tell these groups not to pay it? That's hard to say. I would guess they probably had in some cases. The issue here is that some of these companies really don't have a choice, right? Unfortunately, when it comes to SCADA hacking, like pipelines and critical infrastructure, some of these they don't have a choice because their system is literally inaccessible. And in the case of the pipeline, there was they literally shut down the fuel supply that was going to the East Coast. So in some cases, even it's not always a monetary thing for the company that's affected. Sometimes it's a critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would guess that some of them did actually pay it. Which brings up another point in the fact that it is Bitcoin, right? And we know that that's traceable.
Right.
And I did see, and this isn't the first time it's happened, but I also did see that more and more of these hacking groups are looking for Monero now. They're starting to move away from Bitcoin, which I'm actually surprised it took them that long. And I always wondered, I said, why would they not just move toward Monero to begin with?
Right.
It's untrackable. The government hasn't had any luck tracking it. They have massive contracts that are open to try to track it. But really it's interesting because what turns out to be the case is that Monero is not as liquid as Bitcoin. It's much more difficult to cash out. And so these criminal groups have traditionally said, we need something we can just turn around quick.
Yeah.
And if we're asking for $70 million in cryptocurrency, we need to be able to offload that fast. Are we going to be able to do that with Monero? Maybe not. So interesting, to say the least. I really don't know what's going to happen, but it's something I've been really interested in following. I hope it doesn't have a negative impact on the space, because it'd really be unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see what
unfortunate.
the response is. I don't think anything has come out as far as what Biden has said towards the response in this, but yeah, we'll probably find out here in the next week or two. Hopefully,
I would
hopefully
say.
crypto does not get the blame, but I'm sure.
Right. I just think it's unfortunate if that happens. You really can't. I mean, you can't blame cryptocurrency for this. I think there's a lot of things that are happening with policies.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of short budgetary things in place for fighting cybercrime. And I think that stuff needs to be fixed before you can blame cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll find out the next week. We'll do a follow up story. What exactly happened? Who got the blame? And how is this going to stop? That's kind of the big deal. How are you going to shut this stuff down? Because it's really becoming a problem here in the last few months. Like it's just every other week there's another hack. But anyways, moving on. So Coinbase is getting an app store. Now, this is kind of curious. Now, I don't really have a lot of information on this, but it was announced Coinbase reveals plans for crypto app store amid global refocus.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought this was pretty cool. And the reason I think things like this are really important to talk about is because, I think you and I both want to see more adoption in the space. We want to see people
mhm.
be able to get into the space and invest in things. But you and I both also know that some of the distributed applications that we're using, like Pancake Swap with MetaMask, and
Mhm.
some of the other ones we've talked about, like Olympus DAO, even they're not the
Orion Protocol.
easiest. Yeah, because they're Orion Protocol. They're not the easiest thing for new people to get into, because first of all, you have to understand how to use MetaMask. You have to
Right.
understand transactions and all this other stuff like fees, slippage. There's just a ton of things that a lot of new people aren't going to understand.
Yeah.
So, Coinbase, and I've talked about this before, because I really think they're trying to, and I think they're succeeding in a lot of ways, is to get new people into the space. So, if you think about the way that that your phone now makes it very simple. It's one place where you can go play games, you can go do banking transactions, browse the web, but you're not doing it from multiple things. You're doing it from one screen.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are familiar with Coinbase that are new, right? So they log into Coinbase, they can buy cryptocurrency, but would be cool if Coinbase added some of these distributed applications. Like picture, I can picture multiple people right now that I've talked to that log into Coinbase and they're like, hey, I was able to get into the pancake lottery. And I only had to use Coinbase to do that. I was able to use an app on Coinbase. I think that's the thing that's really cool about this is the potential to increase the adoption across some of these new platforms.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll necessarily be on Coinbase. What I'm getting is that they're going to open up like an app store, kind of like what Apple's done, but it's going to be Coinbase's version of it. And maybe that's completely
Yeah,
wrong. Maybe all this is features because I'll tell you one thing. Every time I talk to somebody about some of the coolest things that you can do with crypto, is things that you do once you pull your crypto off of the exchange. Once you get your
absolutely.
crypto onto DApps, like PancakeSwap, like Orion Protocol, like all these things that we were just looking at, all these different things, you've got to get your money off the exchange and onto a wallet. And as soon as I start talking about that with anyone who's not really fluent in crypto, it's just like done. Nope, never going to happen.
Exactly. That's
You're
my
missing
point,
out so much on these other things that you can do just because it's too complicated to get your money off. Um, and so yeah, building that into a utility that is as simple as putting money on the exchange, I think is huge.
Yeah, I mean, I can already think of different people that would benefit from this,
Hmm.
that are clearly not going to do any of the other stuff we've ever talked about. They
Yeah,
just don't understand it, or they don't want to learn how to use MetaMask or any of that stuff. They just want to be able to use it, and it needs to work, but it
yeah.
needs to be simple. And I think I mean, picture this,
Oh,
like imagine if you wanted to use apps on your phone. Imagine if you had to jailbreak your phone.
yeah.
Imagine if you had to download the app to your computer and put it on your phone directly. I mean, imagine that. That's kind of what I think about when I think about like the approach Coinbase is making, is they're trying to make that process like it is now with our phones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Coinbase CEO said this: Apple didn't attempt to build every app for the iPhone. It empowered developers and gave mobile users an easy way to access new innovative apps. So, essentially, I see the same thing. The Coinbase is saying, we'll give you the utility, the platform to put your DApp onto our Coinbase app, you know?
Yep.
And they're going to open it up to allow the crypto token development teams to do this, which is really cool because I mean if you think about it, yeah, you can start a web page with cool staking utilities like Olympus here, but there's a lot of work and effort and money and time and then just getting the name out there so people know that your app exists, and all this other stuff that goes into that, and sometimes it just doesn't factor in the cost and the amount of time. So Coinbase kind of going, hey, we'll front everything. All you got to do is build it.
Yeah.
We've already got the popularity, so and we've got the clientele. So all you got to do is put your stuff on our platform. That's pretty cool.
I wouldn't be surprised either, to see Coinbase eventually, whether it's next year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. I wouldn't be surprised to see Coinbase release either some sort of decentralized browser, or even a mobile device. It would not surprise me in the least. Because I think as Brian Armstrong has tried to push, he's like, what's the easiest way to get people to get their fingers into the crypto space? We need to give them a vehicle. So that would be awesome to see them release either a specific browser that does this, which basically encapsulates all this stuff, or a actual mobile device. Maybe an Android operating system or something that you can put on your phone.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Which
Yeah.
is basically, and there are other companies that have done this. I mean, there are other companies that have dApp browsers and things like that. But I think Coinbase, the thing that Coinbase has that they don't have, you touched on it a minute ago, is they have they have the exposure for people. People are familiar with Coinbase.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. You'll know when it comes out because it'll be probably one of the hottest topics for people to get their hands on. I'll definitely be utilizing it ASAP, so I can start putting some of my stuff in the apps, which would be so much easier to manage because I've got all my stuff saved and browser saves, and I have to remember which one. It's crazy. All right. Well, moving on. Have you ever wanted to spend money and earn crypto? Right, just like a credit card, you spend money at Blockbuster Video. Blockbuster.
Blockbuster. Wow, I haven't heard that one in a while.
Oh God. And you get to get money back. So apparently, or not money back, but is it crypto back?
Yeah, you're actually earning Bitcoin back for your purchases. 1.5% back on each purchase.
What does it say? 7 point. Anyways, 1.5%.
Well, if you spend up to, I believe it's $50,000 on a purchase, you could get up to 7.5% APY on
it. They're just putting the highest percentage right up.
Yeah, they're throwing that up there for marketing reasons.
You could get 7.5. Now
you could if you wanted to spend 50,000.
But I mean, this is a pretty cool idea. So BlockFi, and you know what? Every time I go to a crypto YouTube channel, it's like, oh, sign up for BlockFi, and you know what I mean? And so I've never personally used it, but this is definitely kind of like a gimme. So you can earn, trade, and borrow your crypto, no fees, no balances, and then earn crypto back for your spending, 1.5%, which is pretty good. I mean, if you're already spending it, get BTC back for it. I mean, why not?
Right. And the one thing I think I wanted to mention in relation to BlockFi is the fact that they announced that they're going to be releasing, and you can get on a wait list right now, but they are going to be releasing an official Visa card. So you'll be able to actually just use a traditional credit card in anywhere that Visa is accepted, and get the 1.5% back.
Okay, so actually they're letting you do crypto-backed loans, a lot of different things here. But wait, is this even the card? This is just their site, isn't it?
Well, that's their site. But they just announced this. I think it was 2 days ago. They announced that they're going to be releasing a Visa card.
Oh, so they haven't even put it up on their site yet. Oh,
no, it was literally 2 days ago, I believe, that they announced this wait list.
Okay, so yeah, just ignore everything that I'm showing you here. This is actually just the platform for borrowing and trading. But the BlockFi, the company itself, is releasing a crypto or a Visa card.
Correct.
You know when they're releasing it?
Right now, you can get on a wait list. I want to say I did this, did it yesterday, and I think I was like 350,000 in line.
Well, yeah. Well, I was telling you about Coinbase is also doing the credit card. Did you look up to see what the difference is between the BlockFi card was and the Coinbase card?
Coinbase, I think theirs was also cash or crypto back on purchases. I didn't see the specific. I did not look at specifically the Coinbase card, but I want to say I did get on their wait list as well at one point in time.
I think it was a Visa card, but I could be totally wrong. You know, when I signed up for Coinbase a long time ago, they had a wait list for it, and so I got on the wait list. But I don't really. There it is, right there. Coming soon. Still, wow, that was over.
It was a while back, yeah.
So it's still they're still working on it, but you know these things take time. You know they got to get the all the ducks in order, so it's not just a rip-off thing. But spend crypto everywhere. Visa debit cards are accepted. Oh wow,
Yeah, that's the part I find interesting about this is the fact that, I'm thinking about it in terms of my existing Visa card. Hey, I'll do a balance transfer, and I would rather use this,
Yeah, earn up
instead
to
of getting airline miles.
4% back in rewards. There's no annual fee, and phone and support, whatever. Who cares about that? But yeah, I mean, this is another cool one. So crypto cards, will you be using them? I guess is the big question. And to me, if you're spending the money, I mean, I get pretty good rewards with Visa already, right? Um, but I end up spending those rewards on utilities or like something that I toys or I don't know, usually goofy stuff that I don't really care about. But able to put that money back into like a savings account, like your crypto savings, that's pretty cool.
So
That's
here's the thing that you might like about the BlockFi card, is from my understanding. So the thing that I think is a little different about the BlockFi card versus the Coinbase card, is that I believe the BlockFi card is going to automatically reinvest your Bitcoin for you, in the BlockFi platform. So as soon as you earn rewards, it'll end up going back into your BlockFi account where it accrues interest.
oh, okay. Okay. It's an unlimited 1.5% back in Bitcoin on every purchase, no annual fee. So yeah, it looks like the race of the credit cards for Bitcoin or for crypto right now. So I'll be interested. I will probably join the wait list on this one. But I think both of them are pretty good ideas. This one's earned 2% back in Bitcoin on every purchase, over 50,000 of annual spending. So you do have to hit that 50,000. Woo, you gotta be some spenders, man. We'll see. I don't know which one's going to be best. Coinbase versus BlockFi, both of them putting out Visa credit cards, but we'll see which one. But I think in the long run, I probably will be getting one of the two.
Think of it this way, this is what's cool about this concept, though. If I'm going to go buy something, right, and I've saved up money to purchase that, I could go buy it, right? No big deal. Or, maybe I put that money on this specific card, buy it, and then I basically I get 1.5% back in Bitcoin for making that purchase. I've
Yeah,
saved the money up, so I'm buying it anyways.
yeah,
I think this is a great way to get a passive amount of investment as well for people.
yep. All right. Well, got to keep it moving here real quick. This is going to be a little bit shorter episode, but one last thing on the docket: Pancake Swap Lottery has finally come back after like 2 months of being gone, maybe longer.
Woo!
Pancake lottery was one of my favorite things. I usually spent way too much. The pancake lottery used to be one cake per ticket, one
Yep.
entire cake. And when that cake was like $30, that hurt.
It's expensive.
So it's an expensive ticket. But what's really cool is now the tickets are always around $5. So even if even if cake hits $20, that's just that much more in tickets, right?
Right.
So if it's $15, that one cake will get you three tickets. If it's $20, if cake is $20, that one cake will get you four tickets. So it lets you buy more tickets. The lotteries are now they don't feel like, well, I don't, maybe they're a little bit bigger, but what that's really cool is that they give you more opportunities to win. So it's not just match three or match four, or I think it was match two, three, or four. And of course, two and three was really small, and then four was like this huge amount, right? But now it's broken up into match 1 through 6, with
Yeah.
one and
It's
two
crazy.
being kind of small, but 3, 4, 5, and 6 being a pretty dadgum good amount of cake. Again, you probably have to split it if there's multiple winners, so it does break it back down. And this is right here, the 77,000 for the next like 5 hours. That's really small. The cake drawing that was just like 5, 6 hours, 7, 8 hours ago or whatever was over $1.1 million.
Somebody actually matched all 6 numbers.
And since the lotto has come back, which there's only been 12 drawings, so that's been around like 4 days, they've had their first match 6 winner who bought 2 tickets and they won $759,000 in cake. And there was one winner who won 379,000. So literally 2 people won over $1 million in cake for the lotto winnings. It's just a really cool, fun way. And I used to love the lotto. So this is like, oh, this is way cooler lotto, right? There's so many different ways to win. Plus I get it in one of my favorite cryptos. And so, and the odds just feel better. It feels like it's more like available to win. So anyways, the lotto has finally come back. It's been back for about 3 days now, 4 days maybe. And super exciting on all the different ways that you can win. So I've already played it twice.
And look what they're burning. See, that's the other thing I find really cool about this is every single drawing they're burning. A pretty significant amount. I mean, that's not obviously a huge amount of cake, but still, that's every single round they're burning cake.
Yeah, and like I was mentioning before, this is a really low amount, right? Somebody won the big kahuna, and just like the lotto, it starts over. And then every other day they inject, I think they said like 50,000 cake or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So every 2 days they inject like $400,000 into the lotto. So anyways, it's just such a cool, fun utility, and it gets so many people to kind of get in and invest and put their money up and just use the platform in general. So that is back. I just wanted to make that one last announcement because I've been waiting on that one for over a couple months.
Well, and I also think I think that'll cause the price of cake to rebound as well, since they are they're re-attracting people back to the platform with this.
Yeah, I mean, cake did drop pretty significantly today. They dropped. They were, I saw them running up at over 16. I thought, "Ooh, here we go. We're making that move." And then all of a sudden today, along with everything else, like we were mentioning, but they just came down big, hitting this, under $14 mark here. But again, we are still tracking at a pretty good pace. Nothing like too astronomical. We're still trending upwards since the huge bottom out here. But overall, this will help bring it back for sure. So
yeah, I actually think cake is looking. It's looking pretty good right now, I think.
Yeah, it's not looking bad. And if you look back at the past, right? Look at this. This is back when we were looking at cake back here, and then it did that huge run up, and then it came back down, and I think you bought it around here or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then it has retraced many times, but when it starts running, man, it just runs, and it's hard to catch. So it's not something that you want to get in and out of a lot. That's why I use the pools. Mostly to put your money in the pools. They've got a great return, over 100% return on their pools. So, it's just, I think that's really just the way to go. Anyways, that was really my last announcement. Do you have anything to sign off with?
I did forget to mention, we were talking about Coinbase. They did also announce that they're offering a 4% interest on USDC deposits now as well. So they're treating this as we talked about BlockFi a second ago, offering high interest savings rates. Coinbase just announced that they're really targeting people to invest and treat it more as a savings account. And again, it goes back to what we talked about earlier about these guys, is there's really kind of dropping back a little bit into the more traditional finance mindset, and saying, if you're interested in just saving, having a savings account, your bank is going to give you 0.5% interest if you're lucky. We'll give you 4%. So it's I did want to mention that that's another really good option for people if they just want to buy Bitcoin or if they want to buy something and just leave it there. They also offer interest on that, but they did mention that USDC is a guaranteed 4% interest. So
wow,
thought I'd mention that. Yep.
Yeah, not bad. All right, guys.
And that's it for me.
I guess that wraps up today's episode. It was a little bit smaller than normal, and it's been kind of a slow week, so we didn't have a whole lot to talk about. But we'll pick it up back next week, and hopefully have some pretty exciting news. So still kind of waiting on the bull run here, but we'll be around to watch it. But anyways, guys, have a good one. We'll see you all next time.
Awesome. See you, everyone.